What's up, Drop Pod listeners? You can check out new episodes of the Drop Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
This episode is presented by All County Exteriors. Discover the excellence of All County Exteriors, a third-generation leader in premier exterior home remodeling, proudly celebrating over 40 years of success. While most remodeling companies last just 5 years, All County Exteriors has withstood the test of time, consistently delivering top-quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Their expertise extends from small repairs to large additions, serving homeowners and builders alike. More than just a construction company, All County Exteriors is deeply committed to community service, proudly supporting organizations such as the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. If you have planned to do any exterior remodeling, call the experts at All County Exteriors for a free, no-obligation estimate for your project. Just call 732-370-2780 or email them at info@allcountyonline.com. That's 732-370-2780 for All County Exteriors for all your remodeling needs. This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Toro. This is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Podcast people? How you doing out there this week? We got episode 103 coming at you. Let's get a run through the quick schedule, Mike. We got a loaded episode today, yeah? Yesterday, Monday, the 23rd, we had Mike Verse. Mike is still on his trip in Pinehurst. Mike, how many more episodes you got in the coffers there for?
I was going through it because I still know that I haven't put them all out yet because, you and I are out and about, whatnot. I think I have, after this week, I may have like 2 or 3 more. I still have to put out Pinehurst number 6. I still have to put out Pinehurst number 8. But I know that, number 2 is the course there.
Yeah.
And I said, when I was there, I said, let's just film the 18th hole. Like Bryson DeChambeau, let's go see what it's like hitting in there. He just won the U.S. Open. So I had to kind of relive my own moment. So, for those who haven't watched, you can go take a peek. But for those did, another bogey. Another bogey.
As Mike said, head over to Instagram, YouTube, go check it out. Mike Verse, the 18th hole at Pinehurst number 2. Today, the 24th, is episode 103. You got Mike and I here. You can check us out on YouTube. We got the video version or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wednesday, the 25th. Unfortunately, I do not have any Ryan's Verses in the coffers. As of when we're recording right now. I may get some time to go swing and throw something out there, but it doesn't look likely from my end at this point. So I'm just going to say I got nothing for this week. It's been the end of summer comes around and we get busy with vacations and work and things like that. So I didn't have anything for this week, and hopefully I can get there because I talk about fall golf maybe more than anybody else. So I do love this kind of weather. So let's see. We're going to hope. Our guest for this week, Thursday, the 26th, is a huge name in the golf world. Scott Fawcett of Decade Golf. For those of you that don't know who Scott Fawcett is or Decade Golf, he's all over the analytics side of golf. And really, Mike is going to have an absolute nerd session with him because there's only one other person in the world who likes analytics more than Mike. It's Scott Fawcett. So we got that coming at you on Thursday this week. So we got a big interview, big guest, and we got a lot of topics to talk about, Mike. So you ready to jump into it?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right. First thing that we need to start with, Mike and I have a big announcement. We have expanded our little operation, and we'd like to welcome Taylor onto the podcast. She is going to be doing a little bit more of the social media, kind of behind the scenes stuff. As she's as she's doing a little bit of editing, a little bit of social media, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it's this little production that Mike and I have going on has gotten to be a little bit too big for just the two of us. It's been hard at times, frankly, for us to do all of the jobs that we have to do. I know that if you guys know, I do the editing, so Mike has all these questions and thoughts for me while I'm in the lab editing, and I go, you got to give me time to edit here. And in the same way, like, he's doing all the social media, answering all the DMs, putting the hashtag out there. There hasn't been one comment to anything that we've posted in the last 2 years that Mike hasn't responded to. So it's needed. We need a little, we got to let some steam out of the coffee pot there. So, or the teapot, we got to let some steam out of it. So I wanted to welcome Taylor and welcome her to our team. And it's been great already having her. She's officially going to start. This week was her first, kind of week that she's going to start throwing ideas and whatnot. And then next week she's going to be, doing all of our posts. So if you start to see some better stuff and you're like, wow, they're doing a better job, well, it's thanks to her expertise. And we're lucky to have her. She's got such a great background. So
yeah, listen, I think it, which is a good thing for you and I, is this thing is growing, it's expanding, and you and I have kind of said this many, many times on the show. It's like a rocket ship to the moon, and this thing's not stopping. And this is an example that proves that we're not just blowing smoke up people's butts about that, because this thing is really doing that. And it got to the point on the social media side that, we kind of needed a manager. We kind of needed someone to oversee the editing, the developing, the publishing, the creating, the posting. And we sat down, we put that posting out a few weeks ago. We interviewed many people. We DM'd with many people. We talked about what we wanted out of this individual. And after sitting down with Taylor, she was the one. So I do want to say this, though. When it comes to DMs, I will still be the one answering every single DM. Taylor's not going to handle that side of it. When it comes to commenting on posts or things going out there, that will still be me. So my hand will still be involved in the social media side of it. It may just not be as much in terms of a post here or there or a description here and there. She'll kind of be spearheading that ship.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. I guess I should have articulated that a little better. She's going to be more behind the scenes social media. You're still going to be talking to Mike for the most part. If I throw something out there, and I always initial it. If you don't get an initial or my name or something, it's coming from Mike. But yeah, she's going to be more behind the scenes. You're still going to be, you're getting in touch with us through DMs or email, or you're making a comment. It's still going to be Mike and I that are responding. More so Mike. Mike, we did hit a milestone, again, talking about getting bigger, getting better, getting all that kind of stuff. We have surpassed 600 million followers. I mean 6,000 followers. It's crazy how quickly these like milestones come, Mike. And I don't know if you feel this way. Like, I know you said, hey, we passed 6,000, congrats. And I was like, yay, us. Like, it just feels like it's just part of the journey now. It's not like a big milestone. It's just what we're doing. Like 6,000 is just another step in the direction that we're going. And again, it's credit to all the people that listen, all the people that follow. And it's, again, you said it's rocket ship to the moon, and it's been great. It really has. Well,
and I think that's kind of like why I said at the beginning about Taylor. Like, this thing is growing, and people say, like, well, how do you know, like, what's going on? And I think this is just another example, because, I know we talked about the big milestone hitting 5,000. It took us 2 months to get there. Here's another 2 months later, after the fact, it's another 1,000 followers. So this thing is growing. It may not be growing as fast as some people think, or maybe growing faster than some people think, but the reality is it is growing. And I think that's the example that I like to provide, is like, the numbers are getting better. And I say that because, we're bringing on another person. The numbers on social media are going up. The numbers on the podcast are going up. And I do want to throw this kind of out there, because as these things grow, it's getting to more eyes and ears, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, wherever you're watching all this stuff that we put out, it's growing. And I say this, that I think I have like 1 or 2 advertising spots available for the fourth quarter beginning in October, if anybody's interested. I know people have come back to us, especially after us being at the Golf Cave. Hey, listen, we'd love to have you guys come record, film. We would love to advertise. So there are conversations going on behind the scenes, but I do know that I have a few spots available that if anybody is interested, shoot me a DM and listen, we can find ways to tailor an agreement that suits you and your business. So that's ultimately kind of what I want to say, which leads me into my last little topic here about all these teasers is I was at the Butcher Block this past weekend. And obviously, if we've never been there in West Long Branch, the food is very good. The ambiance is unreal. And the little, the spot they have, the location is really, really neat. But I think this quick little story is I was walking out and I just so happened to cross paths with the owner and I said, hey, listen, want to introduce myself, so-and-so. It's just funny that him and my brother played college football together. So we had some sort of, common thing to discuss. And as I'm talking to this guy who's the owner, one of the waiters chimes into the conversation and says, you have a podcast, right? And the owner looks at him and looks back at me. He says, I say, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. He goes, you're the Drop podcast. You have the golf podcast, right? In New Jersey, all about golf in the Garden State. I said, yeah, that's me. And the owner looked at me and goes, well, I don't play golf, but obviously whatever you got going on is growing. So I said to the waiter, I said, well, I appreciate you listening and following. I do. And then I kind of got in my car and left. But that is just another example that I like to provide to people that I'm just going to have dinner. I'm not looking to promote what we got going on. I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm not handing out stickers. I'm literally having dinner. And this waiter, who I had no connection with, wasn't even the waiter of my table, says that to me as I'm walking out. So this thing is scarily growing that if this beautiful face can now be recognized in public, things are progressing in the right way. So I thought that was a really fun neat little story that I had to share.
It is fun. It's one of those things where you're almost like, I wish I had stickers.
I know,
just to give you something.
But wish I had a golf ball marker, something in my pocket. But there are some times I like to click the off button and not be on. But it was just one of those funny little coincidences.
Well, I love that. Yeah, and it does. I don't know if you guys know this. It does make us feel kind of nice. It's kind of nice being recognized, and I like seeing who. Not only does it make me feel good that he's like, hey, I like the podcast. So what we're doing is working for some people, but it's nice to put a face to our listeners, more or less.
Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Or how about the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to go visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey, conveniently located in Union County, right off exit 138 on the Garden State Parkway. Galloping Hill encompasses over more than 270 beautiful acres. It was again ranked in the top 10 of best public golf courses in New Jersey. Galloping Hill also offers a top 50 in the country learning center with 52 stalls and a 45,000 square foot practice area. In addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country, Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastropub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the course. Hosting over 100 golf outings and over 400 social events per year, their catering team consistently wins awards each year from the Knot and the Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course.
Couple big events going on in the golf world right now, professionally and amateur. Let's start at the U.S. Mid-Am. Let's start on the amateur ranks. You've gotten to play Independence, which is where they're playing right now down in Virginia. On your trip there, you put that out. There are a ton of big names. We got a bunch from New Jersey in there. What have you been? You're the guy who's hot on the text and DMs. What have you been hearing about the course, about how it's playing? What are your thoughts there, Mike?
Well, listen, we have a ton of New Jersey guys in it. Okay, there's a ton of New Jersey guys, from guys like Pat Wilson to many others that are there. Even our boy Stu Hagestad is there defending his title. And Independence Golf Club is one of the co-hosts of the stroke play portion. Keenelock is the main golf course that they're going to be playing, and that is when you talk about private golf courses in Virginia, like stupid nice. They said one of the things that has caught my attention nonstop and what I've been reading is aesthetically, it's unbelievable. And obviously, you know me, optics matter. So I've been scrolling through these pictures, and I'm just like blown away by this location. But it gets underway on it started on Saturday. Okay. So it's ongoing right now. It's unfortunate, I'll be giving updates throughout in terms of like what I find. It'll conclude on Thursday, the 26th. But I'm just hopeful that our guys can make it to match play. And I think that's always something that you and I have talked with many guests. You and I have discussed many times. The stroke play portion of it is always the hardest part. You got to find a way to get into match play, because in match play, who cares if you make a 10, you still lost the hole, doesn't really matter, but you got to obviously avoid those numbers leading into the tournament. So, listen, I'm excited. I got my guys, highlighted, they're bulleted, they're ready to go. You got Marcus Stanza in the field. You got Pat Wilson, you got so many guys and then you got some other guys that aren't like,
I did the same this morning, Mike.
What's up?
I did the same Saturday morning when I went in.
Yeah, so you don't
highlighted the guys and
so it's one of those things that, listen, I'll be following along, I'll be rooting hard, at least for some one of our guys, because if you recall last year, Jason Bataille was one of those dark horses that made a big run in the Mid-Am at Sleepy Hollow, and we had him on to talk about his little venture out there. So you get these stories throughout weeks like this. And it's fun to see, them play Independence, knowing that I got to play there. I know the golf course pretty well. Like, I have a good recollection of it. Just happened in July. I wish I got on Keenelock instead, but listen, beggars can't be choosers around here. So, listen, it's going to be a fun event. I can't wait to follow along. And obviously with this being Tuesday, it's still ongoing. So to be able to say who wins, I'll have to save that portion for next week.
So, being that you've played the course, Mike, what do you think is going to be some of the more exciting holes, or kind of like, I like the question of like, what's the amen corner there?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, so they play, it's a 36-hole qualifier, right? Mm-hmm. In a sense, stroke play. 18 holes are at Keenelock, 18 are independent. So each guy will get to see both golf courses. I mean, I started on the back nine when I went there, and that was the day that we had those motor carts. Remember you sending those videos?
Yeah.
That's that place. So we played the golf course in reverse, and if I recall correctly, I liked the front nine better than the back nine. I thought it just was
your front or the actual front.
The actual front, just kind of hit better. I did, but listen. I don't know if there was a specific hole that was like, oh, this was the best thing ever. I just thought it was a solid golf course. I do. I was kind of impressed by it. And I thought it was fun. And I think knowing what I shot that day, seeing, obviously I'm not playing the tees that these guys are playing, because, these guys are playing it probably near 7,000 yards. I didn't even sniff that that day. But I do know that when I played there, I shot 79. I played the blue tees, so it wasn't anything to like brag about, but kind of like interesting when it talks about a comparison type thing. But nonetheless, listen, it's going to just be exciting just to see.
No doubt. And we do have a couple New Jersey guys. You mentioned Pat Wilson, Marcus Stanza. We've had Stu Hagestad on. There's a few other Jersey guys who we've been unable to connect with. And, you talk about, we had Dante on last week, and he beat Christian. Christian's in the event. So there's some New Jersey guys, some Met area guys that are up there. So best of luck to them. We're rooting for big things from Jersey there.
Yeah, listen,
And then
I'm excited. I'm hopeful that one of these guys, Christian Cavallari is another guy that's in the mix there.
mhm.
You got Connor Casey, another New Jersey guy, Cliff Lindholm, who made a run at New Jersey's mid am, with Austin, with the one that Austin won. So listen, there's names there, and let's hope our guys get through, because before you know it, you might be listening to them on the Drop podcast.
That'd be great. Some sad news in our professional ranks, Mike. He made a good run, but Morgan did not qualify for the next stage of the Korn Ferry playoffs here. He missed the cut, so that officially ends his season. Mike, I didn't look to see what he finished at there, like what number. Once he missed the cut, I knew that he obviously couldn't get any higher, and he wasn't in that number. But that's unfortunate for him. He does still have a Q school opportunity to see where he can get a higher status. Right now, it looks like he's got conditional status for 2025 on the Korn Ferry Tour based on how he played this year. Again, going to Q school can help bring that from conditional to maybe a full-time situation. But you got to ask the question. Morgan's 35 years old. He's coming off this incredible battle with this disease that he has and the sickness that he's overcome or beaten to remission or whatever you want to call it. But he's got this whole other holistic kind of lifestyle going on. And I don't know I don't know where his mind is. He's got the health facility going on in Costa Rica. He's got family. He's got all that kind of stuff. Who knows what the future holds for him?
Yeah, listen, I was devastated when I saw that he missed the cut on Friday. I was, and I listen. I know I've said this multiple times on the podcast. Him and I have texted back and forth, but those are one of the things that I'm not friends with Morgan, that I can be like, yo, what are you going to do next year? Like, I'm not Adam Schefter here breaking news, especially in a disappointing manner on something like that. But, I did read a few articles on Golf Digest that, like, he was one of the top 5 guys that had a lot at stake heading into this tournament, because he needed to get inside the top 75. And if he had gotten inside the top 75, he would have guaranteed his card for next year. Now with conditional status, it puts a lot of questions up in the air. And I don't know if he wants to continue. I don't. I won't lie. I will eventually, as time passes, reach out to him and kind of see if maybe he wants to hop back on the podcast to talk about what his future holds. But at least let him know that, listen, he's got 2 fans within us no matter what. So unfortunate, but we did get a New Jersey guy who looks like he's tour bound too. So
yeah, with John making it inside that top 30, it looks like he's going to get it. We've mentioned Harry Higgs before on the show, born in New Jersey. He's moving on. He's already tour bound with how he played during the season. So that's great. We're be nice to have John on and kind of follow him along, kind of like we have with Chris and Max going back to last year. So that would be kind of a great thing to have there. So John, here's your call out. When you coming on the pod?
He'll be on. Don't worry. Him and I have chatted. Once things quiet down for him in the wintertime, you'll see John Pock on here.
When he was on, when I went to the event at Metidaconk, I didn't kind of how he teed off, and I don't, you're better at like the connections and kind of how you obviously have either DM'd him, that you've talked to him or whatever. I don't know that. So, I watched him. I had my Drop Pod shirt on. I had some stuff, and I don't know if he recognized who I was. But it was cool to kind of see, and obviously I don't want to bother him while he's out there working and grinding. So hopefully he does come on. That'd be great.
Have you been to a golf cave? It's a perfect indoor golf experience for serious golfers. Golf Cave has been New Jersey based since 2012 with 4 locations and 3 more coming soon, all in the Garden State. What makes Golf Cave unique? Well, it starts with private luxury suites called caves. Each cave has a dual TrackMan simulator, leather recliners, TVs, a fridge, BYOB, and food. You get the idea. These are not bays like a driving range. They're private rooms loaded with technology all the pros use. Why go to the driving range when you could book a tee time, choose from over 250 of the world's best courses, and practice with purpose? Golf Cave offers hourly rates for tee times and memberships. Here's the best part. Golf Cave members get 24/7 access with their Cave Key. Even better, memberships are month to month and any unused hours roll over. So stop by the Golf Cave in Clark, Greenbrook, Eatontown, or Randolph, or visit golfcave.com to learn more. First-time visitors use code DROP, that's DROP, to get your first hour free. Welcome to the evolution of golf.
Mike, last but not least, let's get into the President's Cup here, because we do have that starting this week. It's a big national tournament, USA versus the world team, I guess is what you would call it, being held up at the golf club in Montreal, I believe, the Royal Montreal Golf Club, obviously up in Montreal. Let's get into this, Mike.
It's good geography.
It's good geography there. Let's get into this. Let's talk about it. I mean, I would think that you would be on Team USA's side for this in the win. I know I am. I think that it's unlike the Ryder Cup. It seems like we're pretty good at the President's Cup. So I'm going to say that we're gonna take care of business and handle our business correctly. Jim Furyk seems like I like that captain's pick. And we got guys that are hot right now. You know, Keegan Bradley has been hot. Obviously, I don't know if you've heard that Xander Schauffele had a good year. Scotty Scheffler as well. You might have heard of those names. But we got some other guys there that are playing really well or are really good at these kind of team competitions. Like Sahith Theegala's been playing really well. Max Homa, not the season he wanted, but I mean, played awesome in his Ryder Cup, and you know, I think we're going to do pretty well.
Listen, I'm going to throw out a bold prediction here. And I know this is kind of like outside the box and maybe like anti-American, but I'm really not anti-American. But I think the international team upsets the United States of America in the President's Cup. And I know people are going to be like, dude, the Americans always win. The last time it's won is no one even knows. It's been like before the 90s. Oh, no, 1998 was the last time the international team won. They tied, obviously, in 2003, but the United States pretty much dominates us. There's something about Jim Furyk that just doesn't stick with me. I'm just not a Jim Furyk guy. And I've been holding this anger in with some of his captain's picks for quite some time because I knew we were going to discuss this. I just think that it's one of those things that the international team is just going to find a way to win. And I think part of my issue with Jim Furyk is it's like the old realm. It's like the Zach Johnson type way of approaching, of leading. He's just a quiet dude by nature. He just doesn't like give me that fire the way like I'm all excited about for Keegan Bradley. Like I like the hoorah stuff. I like the guy that's going to be like yelling and talking and being in your face a little bit. Like I like that. Jim Furyk to me looks like my 65, 7-year-old grandpa that's just going to sit on the chair and tell me rocking stories. Like I'm not into that. And I think that the international team, led by Captain Mike Weir, finds a way to win this thing. I do. I know that's a crazy, crazy thought. I know our team maybe on paper was way, way, way better. But I just have a gut feeling that in Canada, crazy things happen. You go north of the border, who knows what happens? And I just think at Royal Montreal, in Mike Weir's home country, that somehow, some way, Min Woo Lee becomes the man, the myth, the legend of the 2024 President's Cup. You heard it here first. Min Woo Lee becomes a story that we all discuss heading into next week's podcast. I've been holding that in for a while, big fella.
You have. You clearly have. What American picks were you disappointed with?
Okay, and I'll go in length here. I don't have time to go in length, but like Max Homa, he's been playing terrible golf, and to me, like playing well leading into these things matters. If you think back 2 years ago, Max was one of the hottest golfers on the PGA Tour, one of the hottest golfers. And if you remember correctly, in the President's Cup that year, he dominated as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing awful. Guy can barely hit the ball somewhere on planet Earth. I get it. Like, okay, he's still very. I understand it. Russell Henley. Do you even know who Russell Henley is?
I don't, but I did pull up when I asked you the world golf rankings, and I see that Russell Henley is 14th in the world golf rankings.
Means nothing. Means nothing. Okay. He plays in every single tournament, so someone's got to earn points, and the people that earn points are the people that play. Okay.
What's this? Events. He played in 44. Okay, he played in 44 events. To compare that, right? Rory played in 47 on whatever this list is. So
yeah, but Rory's not on. He's on the international team. He's not on the international team.
Just comparing it to somebody else. Yeah, on
Listen,
the stats here.
If we're gonna,
but no, I don't know who Russell Henley is.
Exactly. So we don't. Brian Harman. What has Brian Harman done since winning the British Open?
Probably not much.
Not much. He was on
but this is just chalk so far.
Right. So to me, this is like
Sam Burns, Brian Harman.
But these are guys that we picked. These are picks that we made for these.
So who would you have picked? This is in order here. He's just gone chalk with the guys that he could possibly pick. Billy Horschel is ahead of on this list. Billy Horschel is ahead of Max Homa. They're 24-25.
Listen, Billy Horschel has done way more lately than Max Homa has. Billy Horschel is a fiery guy. Love that. To me, like I need some of that. I'll tell you what else I would have thought about. Ashka Bhatia, however you say his name.
Akshay Bhatia.
Yeah, Akshay Bhatia. Don't tell. I know his swing is funky, but so is Jim Furyk. He should have taken him for that reason only. But Akshay's been playing such good golf, very consistent. Let's get some of these young kids involved. I get it, like Russell Henley, okay, he's up there in the rankings. I don't care. Like, to me, like guys like that, Denny McCarthy, find me a better putter in the world than Denny McCarthy. Frankly, there isn't. Give me Denny McCarthy any day of the week. Any day of the week over Russell Henley.
Okay, so just Denny McCarthy is 39th in the world, and Russell Henley is 14th in the world.
I don't care. Denny McCarthy is a best putter on the PGA Tour. Ask anybody. That dude, if I need to make a putt, I'm probably calling Denny McCarthy. And what do you got to do to win big time tournaments? Make putts.
Right, but you got to get there first.
Listen, and sometimes people need an opportunity. And when you give them an opportunity, they seize that. Another Eminem reference. But I'm just saying, I didn't like the picks. I didn't like the picks. I don't like Jim Furyk. I'm not a fan of Jim Furyk. I'm not a fan of his picks. Go Mike Weir. Go Min Woo Lee. Go anti-America for this one.
I can see Akshay over Max Homa. I think Max is obviously has not been playing well, but has played well in these. Maybe he went with that. Akshay, I wonder how old he is. Do you know how old he is, Mike?
Nope.
I'm looking it up. 22. So there's your young blood there. I don't know. There's something there. Getting a 22-year-old some of this team kind of experience, but yeah, looking at it, maybe him and Sahith would have been a good little mixture. I don't know, but regardless, it seems like he went chalk other than Max Homa over Billy Horschel. That's all that he did. So, I think you are completely wrong. I think we're going to wipe the floor with them, and you're going to be eating your words later.
Time will tell, my man.
I can tell you are a Mike Weir guy. He's a short guy. You guys are very kindred spirits there.
Listen, Mike Weir is Mike Poro, just a righty versus a lefty. We both probably bunted out there. The only difference really between Mike Weir and Mike Poro is he's got a green jacket and I haven't won mine yet. So, I mean, that's really the only difference.
You know what? But time is still on your side.
Yep. Listen, there is still a chance.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Like I said, we had a lot of stuff to cover today, but we did it pretty good. We went through pretty quickly here. Thank you for listening. Again, welcome Taylor to the team. Good luck to our guys at the USGA Mid-Am. Good luck to those competing in the President's Cup. Go USA. Stay tuned for our interview on Thursday this week with Scott Fawcett. Till then, cheers.